Using an Angel discussion forum. Your instructor may employ a discussion forum in his Angel class as an assessment tool. Discussion forums are a way for the instructor to check your comprehension of a concept being taught to you in class. This is done via conversation amongst your peers and occasionally the instructor as well. Discussion forums are often timed to be open and closed during a certain period during the semester. This allows you an opportunity to discuss whatever's going on that particular week or during that particular time frame of the course. You will find the discussion boards under the Lessons tab in your course. Once you've clicked into the discussion forum, the first place you'll want to go are the directions. This is where you will find your instructor's instructions on how to conduct the conversation with your peers. He may ask you some pointed questions, provide some talking points, or provide a paragraph that recaps the material he'd like you to review before you discuss it. This is essentially a roadmap for your conversation. You may also find the rules for proper netiquette here in the directions box. If not, you should find them in the syllabus. If they're not available in either place, be sure to Google it. It's very easy to misconstrue intent of a post without face-to-face contact, so you always want to be very cognizant of being civil and supportive in your conversations. That's not to say you can't disagree, but criticizing or tearing down your fellow classmates is never a good way to build a body of knowledge or a cooperative effort of understanding of the subject matter being presented. So be sure to play nice in the discussion forums. Now, before I get further into the discussion forums, I'd like to talk to you about the fact that your instructor can configure these forums in a number of different ways. The one that I would like to review first is the post first. You'll see it last on this list. Post first means that you will post, hit submit, and then you will see your fellow students' posts that you can then reply to. The idea here is for you to give your initial understanding of whatever the concepts are without being influenced by your fellow students. So please provide a lengthy explanation of what you think the topic means in the directions box. Click submit and then continue the conversation with your peers. Feel free to pause the video and look at these other 5 types of configurations. In most of these other types of configurations, your instructor will turn off the ability to edit and delete your posts. So be sure to use spell check. The idea here is if you have an idea, commit to it and don't delete it. So these are the different types of modes you may find in the discussion forums. The last thing I want to point out before getting into the discussions themselves is that the direction box can be collapsed. This might give you a little more real estate on screen. When working in the discussion forum, you'll be able to see the posts. They won't bleed off the bottom of the page. So you do have the ability to configure the view in a way that hides the directions. Next up, we'll talk about posting. To begin using the discussion forum, the first thing you'll want to do is create your first post. To do that, click New Post in the upper left-hand corner of the page. Provide a post title that's somewhat descriptive. Then begin typing your thoughts on the subject matter. I'm just going to type in some characters to keep the video moving. Above where I'm typing, you'll notice there is an HTML editor, which are these buttons across the top. This allows you to format copy in a decorative or a way that you may want to highlight things, that sort of stuff. You have the ability to manipulate the copy to some extent. You also have the ability to change point sizes, make them larger or smaller, and change the fonts, and change colors. This might be a helpful way to distinguish your posts from other participants' posts, so you can go back and find them later. Once done typing your response, be sure to use spell check. It's the button with the check mark and the ABC at the top. A window will come up and prompt you with suggestions for proper spelling of certain words. You can replace or ignore as needed. Work your way through the document, changing words as necessary to the correct spellings, and then hit OK. You'll note at the bottom of the screen you have the ability to add attachments such as photos or files. Remember, whatever type of file you upload, say it's a Word file, is the same type of file that will come back. So if one of your fellow students does not have Word on the computer they're sitting at, they will not be able to read your Word document. Saving your documents as a PDF and then uploading them is always a good suggestion. Once you're done, click Submit. Now you'll have your first post in the forum, and any other posts from your other students will open up if this is a first post configured forum. What that means again is you post first and then everyone else's posts show up. You will then have the ability to reply to everyone else, and they'll have the ability to reply to you. As you make replies, and as replies go back and forth between the class, they'll remain bolded to show you that they are unread. In this case, because I'm the author of this forum, I cannot show that as an example. However, as you work your way through a forum, you'll note the bold post headings will be the ones that you haven't read yet. So to reply to a post, I'm going to do this as a sample. Say one of your classmates has made a post and you want to respond to it. You'll click on the post, and then at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see the reply button. This is often confusing for students who've never used the Angel discussion boards before, mostly because as you reconfigure the window, the button always stays at the bottom of the browser window. This is not the best user interface that I've ever seen. However, it is functional, and as long as you remember that the reply button's at the bottom of the screen at all times, then you will be able to make your responses and not have any problems. Another thing you might notice is the edit and delete buttons. Your instructor may turn that ability off. Most times an instructor will want you to state an original thought and not be able to go back and edit it or change anything about it. We would like you to make a statement and stick to it. So to reply, you'll click Reply, and then you can type in your response to your classmate. If you wish, you can quote the original message. If there's a long string, it might be helpful to have a hint of what you're talking about from a message that's further up in the string. So you can click Quote Original Message, and that'll show up here. And because we did the original one in red, it's easy to distinguish the two posts. Had we not changed this color, it might be a little bit hard to distinguish who said what, other than the fact that it does attribute the original post to the original poster. So you do have the ability to quote messages, much like any other internet forum, if you have participated in any other internet forums. So you've made your reply and you'll hit Submit. So you'll notice we're starting to build a string of replies here. So again, we'll click Reply, type another response, click Submit. So again, we're building a string. And as a participant in the forum, you can always make new posts as well. So again, the posts that we're creating are coming out one after another here on the forum. And again, any that you haven't read will show as bold black. Now, you do have the ability to read through these a page at a time by clicking in the Navigate area in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. This button here will allow you to page through each post. So you'll go to the next post and you'll work your way through the entire conversation, much like a document. This is a helpful way to keep things straight in the conversation. Another way to make that work is to change the configuration of the discussion board to look a little bit differently. To do that, you'll change the view. We'll go from the threaded view to the nested view. The nested view will then open up every single post so that you can read them one after another in a string. You'll note that each one does have a reply button. So if you wish to reply to a response somewhere in the middle of this conversation, you can always click on that one response and then click Reply and add to the conversation. And that will then show up collapsed in this area. So here's our response to this prior post. So you do have the ability to change the view. This one gets a little bit confusing. However, you do have more reply buttons. They're much easier to see, and you just read this like you would any other page. You work your way down the page to read it. So you do, again, have a couple of different view options. Depending on your comfort level with either one, you can navigate however you wish. Again, you have the ability to page through each post. So that's how you post in a discussion forum. Be sure to use the New Post button, and then when you want to respond to posts, you click on the actual post itself that you would like to respond to. Then click Reply, type in your response, and hit Submit. So that was a brief recap. If you have any questions, be sure to email your instructor, and they can walk you through anything in this video that you may need to look at.